Hello! It is once again the time where I decide to write a whole bunch of pen pal letters to my friends. Without further ado, let's get into it. It has been a good chunk of time since I have written any pen pal letters at all. And so this time I ended up writing 4 pen pal letters, which is my total amount of pen pals. So I was writing a letter to each of my pen pals, and for that reason I decided to keep all of the letters relatively simple, just so I wouldn't be spending too much time on one or the other, since I was a little bit hurrying to try to get these done. I was basing the theme for these letters off of my March bullet journal theme, and for that theme I used 4 colors, and so each of the letters I used one of the 4 colors. So it tied in quite nicely, and it kind of just made me happy inside to achieve that. And so once I'd written the names for the letters, I started to sort of draw the names out for the covers of the letters, and decorating the letter covers is hands down one of my favorite parts of writing the letters. Obviously my favorite part is the connections I get to meet and the friends I make, but yeah, decorating the letters is part of it too. I deliberately used a different color for the envelope of the letter than I did for the dear whoever part on purpose, just to kind of create more of that theme. And then after I'd drawn that, I started to draw some of the flower doodles that I used in my March plan with me. And I just kind of went at that, and honestly, the paper didn't really hold up too well to the drawings and markers. It definitely works better on a bullet journal, so I think the next time I do this I'll use some stiffer paper, but overall it still looked okay. It wasn't so much the pen that was giving me trouble, but it was when I went to go add color that the paper started to just kind of give out on me. And also, I mentioned this in my March spread, but Tombows and pens do just not mix well. They smear, and many a good drawing has been ruined by me forgetting this. So just your friendly reminder from an artist in pain: don't use Tombows and pens unless you have a plan for the order that you're going to be using them in. By the way, I've always found that montages of people cutting out things is always sort of aesthetic, so it greatly pains me that the majority of me cutting things out in this video is out of the frame, and I sincerely apologize for that, and I will make an effort to do better in the future. I hope you can forgive me. So for these pen pal letters, I wanted them to all be unique and look different from each other, but I also wanted them to all match my March theme, which is why I have the color variations as well as just one of every single doodle. And so I wasn't feeling super creative, which is kind of why I like making my pen pal letters line up with my bullet journal spreads, is that it makes me be able to be creative without having to put too much energy into coming up with a theme. So now I'm just clearing up all the little scraps of paper, and it is time to start decorating the first letter, or envelope I should say. So I had some graph paper and I really just went in with some simple layering, an Elmer's glue stick, and a Tombow Fudanowski pen, and I just kind of went for it. I didn't really plan out the layering too much, and I kept it really simple. Normally I probably would have used a little bit more layering, but I wasn't really feeling too up to it, and I just kind of doodled some black lines around the edge to give it a little bit more of a finished feel. And then I did the same thing on the back just to kind of tie it all together. And then I started working on some more doodles, just to add a little bit more spice, if you will. I'm always really careful about my pen pal's addresses, especially since I am publishing these videos to the internet. And so I just simply put a return to space for my return address, and then I fill that out after the video. So just some advice, don't share your address on the internet, kids. That's pretty obvious, but you know, we love being obvious here. Anyway, I just wrote good things inside with a white Sakura jelly roll, and that was that. My phone kind of flipped the footage a little bit, but I also did add some washi tape and a little bit of doodles onto the front cover, which you can kind of see off in the corner. Anyway, the next letter, I literally went for the same exact approach. I just changed up the layout just a tad, but honestly, same approach, super simple, just the paper, the name, a little flower doodle, and then some enhancements and doodles with the black Tombow Fudanowski. I actually really love how smoothly the Fudanowski is able to write on the envelope, which is kind of just sort of a regular brown paper, but it's still really smooth and it doesn't come up with any sort of strange textures, which I've encountered with some other markers. So yeah, just a fun fact hyping up my friend Tombow Fudanowski. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. On the back, I did some dots, and I did not plan their spacing out at all, so it looks a little wonky, but overall, the effect was still pretty cute. I wrote the return address blank spot, and then I just added another little doodle of yes, just to match the theme. And we're on to the third envelope. And wouldn't you guess it, we're starting off with some graph paper, and then, ooh, shaky camera there, we're adding the name. And then from there, wow, my camera really is shaking aggressive much. We're just going to add on the doodles and just also the sparkles. Love that I can actually remember that word now. And then again, some accents with the Fudanowski pen. One tip of advice that I don't think I've said before is make sure that your letters lie completely flat when you're finished with them, and this is so when they're being thrown about in the postal service, they do not get damaged. I've had a few letters that arrived in less than optimal condition, especially considering one of my pen pals lives overseas, and so it's just overall best for everyone. F the pen pal part words F if your envelope lies flat. And now we're on to our fourth and final envelope, again with the grid paper. I'm kind of thinking I should have done a little bit more variation here, but honestly I was having fun and they all turned out super cute and on theme, so that's kind of a win. But at the same time, it makes for a little bit slightly boring content for me. I hope you're not bored. If you're still here at this point, you're probably not bored. Anyway, I added some washi tape on this one, and then I went in with, wouldn't you guess it, the Tombow Fudanowski. It actually is interesting to see how many different variations of a thing you can make when you limit yourself to supplies, which is again one of the reasons why I kind of like recreating the theme. Not to sound redundant, but it's kind of like if you walked into a room with a ton of art supplies and someone told you to make something, you'd probably be a little bit stumped. But if someone told you to draw a monster using only 5 colored pencils and a piece of string, you might be a little bit more inspired. I don't know why I chose that particular analogy, but there we go. And that is all for pen pal letters completed. So now I'm just going to fill them up, and this part's kind of satisfying. Unfortunately, I had people talking in the background, and so you don't get to hear the super satisfying sound of me ripping off the little paper that prevents it from adhesing to everything, but it was very satisfying, I can assure you. Anyway, once I'd secured everything, I just kind of sealed it off with some washi tape just to be cute, and then I just did that for all of the letters.
Yeah? Yeah?
I really appreciate you watching this video, and I hope you'll stick around. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye!